Breaking news, Justin Baldoni just got a big win, meaning Blake Lively got a big loss.
The judge in Blake Lively's case just slapped down their psychopathic request.
And the court said no.
Are her lawyers dumb?
On what was supposed to be another routine hearing, Blake Lively stepped into the federal courtroom with apparent confidence. She wore the same effortless poise fans recognized from her red carpet appearances, but the tension was palpable. Within minutes, Judge Lewis Lyman shattered that cool exterior, dismissing her invasive requests for Justin Baldoni's personal records and calling them overly intrusive. Witnesses whispered that Lively's face went pale. Her lawyers looked rattled.
Judge in Blake Lively's case just slapped down their psychopathic request for 2.5 years worth of every message that Justin Baldoni and Justin Heath and the PR agents have ever sent to everybody, plus location data. We knew that was going to happen.
But the real shock was still to come. As the judge continued outlining just how disproportionate her subpoenas were, Lively's composure disintegrated. According to multiple attendees, she physically tensed, whispering furiously to her legal team, her voice quavering. The gossip spread fast. Blake Lively, the unshakable Hollywood star, was on the brink of an emotional meltdown in open court. All the while, the man at the center of her accusations, actor-producer Justin Baldoni, remained composed, barely betraying a reaction. For him, it was a vindication long overdue. By the time the hearing ended, news of Lively's dramatic breakdown was already blazing through social media. People outside asked if she was okay, but the real question was why? What had driven an A-list actress to such extremes, demanding 2+ years of private data, only to be so thoroughly rebuffed by a no-nonsense judge? Little did they realize that this meltdown was merely the climax of a much longer saga. One that involved alleged blacklisting, bombshell recordings, and even the hiring of a former CIA operative.
Blake Lively and Reynolds have hired former CIA agents with a proven track record of lying to the public, gaslighting the public.
Long before the courtroom meltdown, Blake Lively and Reynolds appeared to be Hollywood's golden couple. They charmed interviewers, supported charities, and posted lighthearted banter on social media. When rumors arose that they were embroiled in a messy legal dispute, few believed it. Lively had carefully cultivated an image of grace and integrity, and Reynolds was known for his wit and easygoing charm. But the whispers refused to disappear. Justin Baldoni's name kept popping up, linked to accusations of blacklisting and sabotage. Insiders suggested Lively and Reynolds were behind the scenes, pressuring studios to blacklist him. The question on everyone's mind was, why? Baldoni wasn't exactly an industry titan. Why target him? The puzzle became more perplexing when leaked court filings revealed Lively's demand for massive amounts of Baldoni's private data, phone messages, location logs, and even doctor visits stretching back years. Online speculation exploded. Was this a petty vendetta or something deeper? Lively's team offered no immediate explanation, fueling theories that she and Reynolds wielded their star power to silence whoever threatened their interests. Meanwhile, Baldoni stayed relatively quiet, letting the rumors swirl. Some applauded him for rising above the fray. Others wondered if he feared retaliation by two of Tinseltown's biggest names. Once the case moved into the courtroom, the tension escalated. Judge Lewis Lyman quickly signaled he had little tolerance for overreaching legal tactics. Lively's attorneys had filed subpoenas demanding over 2 years of Baldoni's communications, citing a supposed smear campaign that began in mid-2024. Yet they requested records dating to early 2022. The discrepancy was glaring. When pressed for an explanation, Lively's counsel suggested Baldoni's alleged wrongdoing might stretch further back, but the judge wasn't buying it. He cut them off, calling the scope unwarranted surveillance. The courtroom turned quiet. Onlookers caught the moment Lively's face fell, her once confident demeanor evaporating under the judge's scrutiny. Far from conceding, though, her team doubled down in subsequent filings, prompting yet another public rebuke. The final ruling strictly limited discovery to just a few months, far from the extensive data trove Lively originally wanted. By that point, the media had seized on every detail, painting Lively as a star trying to bully her way to a win with legally dubious demands. It was a painful blow, but more was about to explode when a secret audio leak confirmed everyone's worst suspicions. In a single stroke, a leaked recording upended any notion that Lively was simply defending herself against Baldoni's alleged smear. Ari Emanuel, CEO of one of Hollywood's most influential talent agencies, was caught on tape discussing how Lively and Reynolds pushed for Baldoni's professional downfall. Emanuel even ridiculed Baldoni's name, calling him baloney, as if erasing any doubt that he had zero respect for the targeted actor. Social media went up in flames. Clips of Emanuel's sneering remarks spread like wildfire on Twitter, YouTube, and fan forums. The timing raised eyebrows. The official podcast where this snippet originated mysteriously lost its recording, leaving many to suspect outside pressure. Luckily, a savvy journalist in attendance had a backup copy. Suddenly, this wasn't just a celebrity tiff. It was a full-on scandal suggesting Lively and Reynolds wielded their Hollywood influence like a cudgel. The meltdown in court, once seen as a dramatic overreaction, now looked more like the tip of an iceberg. Critics claimed they were witnessing a cover-up, orchestrated by two stars unafraid to play dirty to control the narrative. In an industry built on relationships, you'd expect big-name friends to rally in support of Blake Lively. Yet the opposite happened. High-profile figures who once praised her talents, like Taylor Swift or Gigi Hadid, went conspicuously silent. Talk show invitations vanished. Former allies retreated, unwilling to stake their reputations on a star embroiled in what many called the year's ugliest lawsuit. Fans who once adored the couple began questioning Lively's motives. Once hailed as an ambassador for female empowerment, she now stood accused of underhanded maneuvers. Sources murmured about a silent exodus of PR professionals who declined to represent her, fearing the negative publicity was too severe. Even Ryan Reynolds, with his magnetic social media presence, seemed to disappear from the conversation. His usual witty tweets were replaced by radio silence, fueling speculation that he was distancing himself from the legal drama. Meanwhile, Justin Baldoni gained a wave of public sympathy. He didn't launch a scorched earth campaign on social media. Instead, he quietly let the courts do the talking. Observers found his calm a stark contrast to Lively's frantic legal approach. Though his career had taken a blow from alleged blacklisting, public opinion now leaned heavily in his favor. Just when it seemed the headlines couldn't get stranger, Variety broke a story that Blake Lively had hired Nick Shapiro, a former CIA deputy chief of staff, to manage the fallout. The idea of an actress resorting to a high-level intelligence operative was mind-boggling. Sure, celebrities often enlist strategic PR specialists, but a CIA alumnus with deep experience in shaping public perception? That revelation signaled a whole new level of panic. Suddenly, mainstream outlets suspiciously released negative pieces framing Baldoni as a difficult figure. Internet watchdogs instantly labeled it a smear campaign. They cited Shapiro's known background in damage control and spin, theorizing that Lively had set up a multi-pronged effort to tarnish Baldoni's reputation, but the public was far from convinced. If anything, the attempt to shift blame only fueled more outrage. Memes circulated, mocking Lively as a Hollywood puppet master who'd gone so far as to enlist a government-caliber agent. The meltdown in court now appeared not as an isolated incident, but as part of a broader effort to manipulate reality. Each subsequent hearing magnified Lively's precarious position. The judge dissected contradictions between her lawsuit and her subpoena requests, pointing out that if she insisted Baldoni's smear began in mid-2024, there was no need for older records. Her counsel's attempt to justify the 2-year data grab rang hollow. Ryan Reynolds' absence loomed large. Where was the outspoken actor who loved cracking jokes online? Legal experts speculated that Lively's meltdown stemmed from realizing her team couldn't paper over the facts. The recordings proved she and Reynolds had orchestrated Baldoni's professional freeze-out. The judge's skepticism on her data demands further eroded her credibility. Meanwhile, industry figures whispered about her attempt to strong-arm executives. and the CIA operative hire only cemented the impression of desperation. Baldoni, for his part, maintained a steady calm. He signaled potential defamation claims in his future, hinting at a countersuit if the harassment persisted. Given the leaked tapes and testimony, his odds looked strong. That possibility added yet another layer of tension. If he moved forward, Lively might face more public embarrassment and possible financial penalties. By now, Blake Lively's epic courtroom meltdown has become a defining image. The Hollywood star, once beloved for her affable persona, unraveling under judicial scrutiny. The meltdown is more than a fleeting tabloid moment. It symbolizes the enormous stakes she faces. If she continues to push for a legal victory, no one believes she can win. Further revelations could demolish whatever's left of her reputation. If she quietly drops her claims, it all but confirms her overreach. The fallout is already staggering. Rumors of her next projects being on hold trickle through industry chatter. Former allies dodge interviews about her. Even the philanthropic work she once championed has lost luster, overshadowed by accusations of behind-the-scenes strong-arming. It's a dizzying fall from grace, capped off by the judge's scathing assessment and that unforgettable day when she nearly broke down at the defense table. Justin Baldoni stands on the other side, seemingly more empowered after each court ruling. While it's too soon to declare him the outright victor, momentum and public sympathy are undeniably on his side. The more Lively tries to regain control, the more the public narrative resists. Her meltdown may have been the catalyst, but her fate now depends on choices that could either salvage a fraction of her standing or bury her deeper in controversy. Where does that leave Hollywood's once shining star? With a CIA operative at her beck and call, silent onlookers backing away, and a judge who's had enough of her tactics, Lively appears cornered. The final verdict, whether through settlement or continued trial, will shape not just her career, but how the industry perceives the raw power of influence wielded by A-list celebrities. One thing is certain: Blake Lively's courtroom breakdown marks a turning point. The question isn't whether her reputation will emerge unscathed, but whether it'll survive at all. If more damning evidence surfaces, her meltdown may become the prologue to one of the most infamous downfalls in modern Hollywood memory. For now, all eyes remain on the next hearing, because if history's any guide, the drama is far from over.